What is your name?
Lloyd Brown.
And what is your subject?
Yardie. Greetings, one and all. This is Lloyd Brown, and welcome, social media family, to my vlog. And before I go any further, I'm not claiming to know every single thing about the movie, but after watching it for the third time, as with my good friend celebrating her Earth Strong yesterday, and being asked so many times by so many people, have you seen it? What do you think of it? Give us your views on it. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. And it's not going to be no in-depth thing either, okay? So know that for a start. Now, obviously, you know the film was directed by Idris Elba. That's why we're kind of, you know, we're talking about it. It's a big deal. It's a big deal for Idris because of the fact that it's his first directorial debut. And it's a big thing. You know, when you're in the acting game and you take up the role as a director, it's a huge thing because now you're learning the craft of filmmaking as opposed to being an actor, which more or less you're just being a pawn. You know, I'm not using the word in bad taste or disrespect, but you're basically playing your part within your knowledge. But when you're a director, you know, it's your vision of what you want the project to be, you know what I'm saying? And when you're making a transition from being an actor to a director, it's growth, you know. It's like being a singer but wanting to be a producer as well. It's growth. So I completely overs that. Now, people have been asking, what do you think of the movie? I'm going to tell you. Obviously, there's some pros and there's some cons. So let's go into the pros. Let's go into the positives first. Now, first of all, I have to say that the movie was beautifully shot. Absolutely beautifully shot. In a way, it's like, you know, with the transition from Jamaica to the UK, it was just, to me, it was just fluid. It was just fluid. Just the shot of the plane just landing in Heathrow in the middle of the night or in the late evening with the subtitles. I think it was London 1983. Just joined the two together, you know, made it continuous. It looked good. So that was that. Now, what else on the pro side? Yeah, I want to big up the cast members. I want to big up some of the cast members. And some I know, some I don't know. But I'm going to big up the ones that I know. I want to big up Eddie Nesta. I want to big up Mr. Williams. And I want to big up Fraser James, who played one of the Rasta elders as well. I want to big him up because I and quite a few people had the distinct pleasure of working with him in Black Heroes in the Hall of Fame. He played Malcolm X in Black Heroes from like the late 80s. And I mean, to me, The Three Wise Men was more or less the centerpiece of the whole production. But having someone like Fraser James, well, he was called James Fraser back in the day, but changed his name to Fraser James. I don't know if it's an equity thing or what have you, but anyway, when he played Malcolm X, it was just electrifying to watch. Really, really electrifying to watch, you know. And you just know with some people, you know, how hungry they are, and B, how much integrity one has for their craft, you know what I'm saying? And Fraser definitely had that in buckets, in spades. And you always knew that there was going to be a bright future for people, certain people in the show. And then he just started getting into TV, doing shows like, I think it was Baby Father. Was it Baby Father? Yeah, he done Baby Father. Quite a few other TV shows. Got into the movie game as well. And does a lot of voiceovers for the BBC, trailers and stuff like that, adverts. It's like I can recognize his voice just like that whenever I hear him. So it's good to see him. It was really, really good to see him. That was a pro. Another thing was the music. Now, the music for me was a half pro. The music that was basically featured, obviously, was a nice touch. One song that I really loved was the end credits song, Johnny Was, which was Skip Marley's rendition of Johnny Was. Revitalized, relicked for 2018. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Always love that song anyway. But that's where it kind of ends with the pros. Now with the cons, it's pretty much simple. I mean, personally speaking, it wasn't as visceral as the book. It wasn't as visceral as the book. I don't know if Idris thought, or Victor thought, or indeed any of the other screenwriters who I'm going to name, Brock and Martin Stellman. I don't know if it was too close to the knuckle to make the film as visceral as the book, bearing in mind the gun and knife violence that we basically have. But for me, at the end of the day, it's a time that people of my generation, we knew well, you know, and in an ironic sense, the times that was illustrated, let's say, it's kind of tame towards what's going on now with gun crime and with violence. That's the ironic thing for me. So I think it should have been a bit more visceral. I think some of the characterization in the movie was really, really tempered and tamed, which I didn't like personally. And another thing is the music. Like I said, with the music, it was half pros and there's half cons. Now, one thing about me, when I watch a movie, right? When I done watch a movie, don't matter if I'm watching it in my yard or I'm watching it in the cinema, I'm watching the credits. Because I want to see who's doing what, who did what, and who did what for who, and yada, 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 who provided this. And with me being a musician, I like to know about the music and the music clearances and who done the consultation and who just had their hand in the music in terms of the soundtrack. So as the credits went up and I saw Island Records, I kind of knew exactly what to expect. A lot of the songs came from Ireland. Grace Jones, Black Uhuru. And that was to be expected, you know what I'm saying? Because Ireland was running things with reggae back in the day. But my thing is, with the music usage in the movie, it was just flat out Jamaican. It was just flat out Jamaican. I saw parts in the movie where people were rubbing to roots tunes. Sorry. I mean, we had Lovers Rock tunes back in 1983. Lovers Rock tunes was running. You had Good Thing Going. You had Lovers Found Its Way. You know, You had tunes like that. Even if you was gonna put it from a Jamaican perspective, you know, those tunes should have basically been in there, even for 30 seconds, 45 seconds. I don't care. You know, to typify the lovers rock element that Jamaican artists gave to the UK as well. You know, even if if you had omitted all of the UK artist contribution, right? I wouldn't sweat it so much. But when I see a scene where people are rubbing to roots tunes, that don't sit right with me. Doesn't sit right with me. You know, there should have been a lovers rock. There should have been somewhat of a homage to lovers rock with one tune, but it wasn't there. So all of the music that was basically featured in the movie was Jamaica. That's why I have to cite Babylon as one of the most influential landmark movies I've seen, because with Babylon presented music from Jamaica and music from the UK and put them both together to show that, yes, we was dancing to lovers rock tunes. Even when you saw, when you saw that scene with Blue rubbing his girlfriend to Cassandra's I just want to say thank you for the many things you've done. That captured it for me. One tune captured the whole vibe of the lovers rock movement. Doesn't matter which song was featured, but to me it represented the lovers rock movement. The music in Yardie, there was not one song to represent the UK contribution to music at that time. And that's all that was for me. Music and it being less visceral than it's supposed to have been. Obviously, it's not going to be a career-ending effort, but it's a good effort. And the common consensus is that it was a good effort. And I applaud Idris for that. When I was looking at the credits, I even saw Idris credited as being the B camera operator. And that's basically operating B-roll. If you don't know what B-roll is when you basically, you shoot shots, you shoot establishing shots. Like you shoot like a street sign just to establish where the action is taking place. You shoot like the dance scene, right? You shoot that. That's kind of like B-roll, right? Is the people that shoots the main characters, the protagonists, those are the A camera operators. But when you're shooting establishing shots, that's the B-roll, right? And Idris Elba was credited for that. And that's livication, man, to his project. So I give him respect for that. And also, I give him respect for hosting Q&As. So he can basically get the questions head on and he can give you the answers head on. You know what I mean? So I'll give you enough credit for that, I'm not saying it was a crap film at all. It was a nice film. It's worth watching. You know what I mean? But to me, it wasn't as visceral as it needed to be. And like I said, the ironic thing for me is that the book at its most visceral, it's tame by today's standards. It's tame by today's standards. That's why quite a few critics are saying that the good boy turned bad gangster element didn't do it for them. And if they're saying that, and I'm looking at it and seeing it from my perspective and seeing the same thing as someone who read the book quite a few times, there's something to be said. But I won't spoil it anymore. It's worth watching. And who knows? Let me know what you think when you finally watch it. But that's my answer to all of you that's been asking me, what do you think of Yardie? So that's my answer, okay? Short, semi-short, I guess, and sweet. So it's with that, I'm going to bid you guys adieu for now. Thanks for watching, thanks for stopping by. And until I catch you on the next one, people, please abstain from foolishness wherever possible. And until we link up next time, stay blessed. Bagan.